Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Omega Seamaster Professional Diver 300 in quartz. You can see this quartz stainless steel dive watch and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this exceptionally thin diver with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Omega Seamaster Professional Diver 300 Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that this is the classic Brosnan Bond case, beveled, beautifully sculpted, exceptionally thin, 41.5 millimeters across the round of the case, not inclusive of the helium release valve at 10 o'clock or the crown and crown guards at 3 o'clock. The watch, of course, features a bracelet that increases the span across the wrist. Now, the two ways to measure this watch, if you're going to wear it commando style on a textile strap or a NATO, 48 from lug to lug, but you add this high-grade Omega 3-link bracelet with its solid end links, and that increases the stance across the wrist to a burly 52.5. But as you can see, it wears well on my wrist at 16 centimeters, and I would say wear without care down to 14.5 centimeters. The watch should fit and look right. In terms of thickness, it is very slim, 11.5 millimeters. The helium valve is no hang-up, and with a nicely sloped and domed dive bezel, it is easy to wear this watch underneath a tight sleeve or dress cuff. This is a perfect dual-purpose watch. The timepiece features a very substantial case, bracelet, and clasp combination. You can see the bracelet is beautifully made, polished on its flanks, satin finished for the most part on the tops with intermediate links that are of high polish to differentiate the mass of metal. Underneath, broad channels between links ensures it will not pull hair or pinch skin, and these late 1990s early 2000s Omega Seamaster clasps were and remain among the best in the industry. Single fold deployant, it closes with the security of a twin trigger system, so you must depress both to open it. It's not at risk of popping open. There's also the fully milled out dive extension for use over a wetsuit, a dry suit, or, as was the case with my own experience with one of these watches, over thick winter coats and sweaters. Then and now, among the best in the industry. The watch looks the business, and those who know the Omega Bond links dating back to the original 1995 GoldenEye connection will recall that the very first Brosnan Bond Seamaster was actually a professional diver quartz, just like this timepiece, albeit with the smaller skeletonized hands rather than the upgraded broad hand, or I should say broadsword style hand and maxi dial found on this model. This one is spectacular at night. I have the old skeleton hand Bond. Trust me, this is easier to read in any light. Helium valve is there for you saturation divers. Everyone else who's not a saturation diver, great talking point and conversation starter. Lots of fun to point out. The bezel is a pleasure to use. The detents are perfect. They sound right, they feel right. Just as a bad bezel can ruin a great dive watch, a good bezel, a satisfying bezel, can make a great one. You also note that you have the ability to time an interval from 0 to 60 minutes by lining up the index with the minute hand. Easier to read and, for the most part, more practical and, I would say, even useful than a chronograph without the service consequences down the road. The watch features this signature wave dial. I would say the waves here not in blue are a bit different, a little bit more muted than what you see on the traditional 2531 Bond, but here quite gorgeous. They lend texture to the dial base, subtle. Likewise, the aperture for the date with faceting is subtle, and the date wheel is a monotone black. The watch does have an end-of-life indicator as part of the caliber 1538 quartz, in which case you'll note the seconds hand starts jumping in larger increments. Now, you have a quick set system of sorts for the date, but it's less like other quartz calibers and more like the Omega 8500 and 9300 watches in that you can adjust forward or backward, and this is great for world travelers because you can jump forward or backward as you move through time zones, and the hour hand also advances the date. Now, because the watch is quartz and quartz must be accurate, we also have a hacking feature so we can pull the crown and stop the seconds hand, hour, and minute to synchronize to a reference time. Of course, the watch has 300-meter water resistance, and one of the pleasures of quartz is that you never have to worry about the watch running down, or at least with a 42-month power reserve, you won't have to worry too often. You can see and you can purchase this watch, which I must say is a ton of watch for the money, on our website.